If you absolutely refuse to feel it, to allow it, to go there, and when I mean go there, I mean go to the ugly, how in the hell do you expect it to move beyond you? How do you expect to move it? Lean into the shit. Why do we refuse to feel? I honestly, you already feel bad. You've already lost your person. This grief is really painful. It's already really painful. You cannot think your way out of this. You cannot hide your way out of this. You can't hustle past this heartbreak. Friends, I'm telling you, as much as you want to, pretend like it's not there, overwork, sleep it away, eat it away, drink it away. It ain't going nowhere. You can journal. You absolutely can journal, but it is not going to move it. It will relieve it a little bit, but it ain't going to move it. You cannot journal it away, talk it away, or wait for the time to do the work. You got to start on the work. You want to heal? You're going to have to lean in. And you're going to have to lean in all the way. That means you're leaning into the shit. You're leaning into the ugly. You're leaning into the pain. You're leaning into thoughts that you didn't want to have. You're leaning into memories that you didn't want to have. You're leaning in. That's absolutely what it means. The pain hurts. Grief pain hurts. It totally sucks. But you're going to have to lean all the way in. Into the chaos, into the heartbreak, into the areas that you never thought possible. I absolutely call it leaning into the shit. And it's just as messy as it sounds. Grief is just as messy as that sounds. Hey friends, welcome back to Healing Starts with the Heart. My name is Sharon Brubaker. I'm the grief specialist and I'm the owner of the Grief School. And I'm so glad that you're here with me today listening. This is for the woman who's out there who is so tired. She's so tired of trying to hold it all together. She's so tired of pretending that everything is okay. And the whole time she's falling apart. She's feeling like she can't even move beyond this pain. The one who's exhausted for trying. The one who's running out of ideas. The one who's tired and realize right now she can't outrun this grief. If you're here listening to this podcast right now, it's because some part of you is ready. It is ready to start moving the pain. It is ready to try to start feeling the hard parts. It just doesn't know how yet. So let's talk about what it actually means to lean into your pain, to face your grief instead of resisting it. Let's talk about that. We've been told so many lies about grief, my friends. You've been told so many lies that it's almost like, I need to put a sign up that says, please stop telling them about the lies. Please stop telling them about all the thing that's going wrong. It's almost like I need to protect you. From the second you start grieving, the world will tell you in different ways you need to get over this. It tells you to be strong. It's not like it's the world. It's the people around you. It is absolutely the people around you telling you to be strong. They're telling you to be grateful. Oh, girl, be grateful you had him for so long. Stay busy and don't fall apart. And not exactly in that order, but that's the gist of it. But here's the truth. You cannot heal the grief from hiding from it. You can't ignore the pain. The pain will multiply. It'll start to affect every part of your body. Every time you push the grief down, it starts to grow bigger. It starts to grow bigger like the blob. It grows roots, and it digs deeper and deeper inside. It digs deeper into the sides of you that you didn't even know were there. And the roots don't just start to stay. They don't just stay in your heart. They go into your stomach. They go into your gut. They go into your hips. They go into your groin. And then that pain starts to affect everything we're doing. Sometimes we can't even think. We can't even write because our brain can't even think clearly because the roots have grown in there. They don't just stay in your heart. They reach every part of your body, your mind, your belief system about the world, your belief system about what you thought about the world, your energy. Your grief, my friends, is meant to be felt. It's a full body experience, and when you avoid it, we're just stretching out and suffering. We're just stretching out the suffering and making it longer. I meet so many grievers, and I don't know why we want to hold on to the pain. It's some part of us deep down inside, we think it's our love. We think it's our respect. We think we're loving our person deeper if we cause undue suffering or stay in the undue suffering. I have 2 clients right now, and that's exactly where they are. They are stuck in the undue suffering, and I can't get them to move beyond it. Some part of them thinks that this is grieving and that they're supposed to be here. Some part of them is not ready to release it. What does it mean to, what does it look like to lean on in? That's not even what I wanted to say. I wanted to say what leaning all in looks like, but I read that wrong from my own notes. So what does it mean to lean into the shit? It means stop pretending like you're okay. Stop telling people you're okay. It means you look like you're falling apart on a random Tuesday, and that's okay. It means you feel the wave of sadness instead of distracting yourself. So as soon as the pain comes, you don't pick up the phone and start scrolling on TikTok. You don't start grabbing a glass of wine. It means you say, I miss him. I miss her. I can't breathe. I don't want to get out of bed. I hate this. I'm not okay. You say all of those things. Hey girl, how's it going since your mom died? I'm not okay. And I don't know when I will be okay again. But I know I got to do this, and I know that it's painful. Leaning in means you give yourself permission to feel the pain. You give yourself permission to feel the pain without judgment, without judging yourself. You don't try to fix it. You sit in it. You honor it. Grief sucks. You lean into the suck. And slowly, step by step, inch by inch, the pain starts to shift. Not go away, shift. Let's talk about some ways we're not leaning into it. There are parts of this grief that are really hard for us to admit. There are parts of this grief that we really have a trouble talking about. Most of us, since day one, were trained to avoid the pain. We were not taught how to feel our feelings. We were taught to stay strong, to be positive. So what do we do instead? We overwork. We overgive. We overserve. We volunteer for everything. We isolate. We numb with our favorite ways: food, alcohol, shopping, TV, even busyness. You haven't thought about cleaning out that junk drawer for 20 years, and now you've got to clean it out? Now you've got to take everything out? Here's the other thing. You take everything out of the junk drawer, you throw it on the counter, you separate it into piles, and then you leave it. You don't even complete it. And it stays up there for weeks, days, and months. We scroll. We compare our brokenness to someone else's. We compare our brokenness to our last broken event. And then we start to pretend. Because we don't know what else to do with ourselves, so we start to pretend. But I promise you, none of that works. Because the pain doesn't go away. Because you can't just ignore it. It waits. It hides. It lays out in the background. And there's a thought that a lot of you have never even thought about. And that thought is, they're still coming back. She's going to come back. This is a nightmare. And I'm going to wake up from this nightmare. And that thought whispers this is not real. This is not happening to me. I cannot live the rest of my life without her. I can't believe I'm never going to see her again. That thought waits. It hides. It hides in the background. It's that thought or something like that. And it comes out sideways and hard, and it hits us really hard. Friends, when you lean into the grief, it doesn't mean you're drowning. It does not mean that you are drowning in this pain. It doesn't mean that you need to lean in so that you drown. Let me be clear. Leaning in the pain doesn't mean getting stuck there. It was never intended for you to get stuck in that spot right then and there. Leaning in didn't mean for you to fall apart just to stand up again and do it all over again. Leaning into the pain doesn't mean getting stuck there. It doesn't mean falling apart and never standing up again. It means that you are supposed to feel it, stand up, allow it, and let it be there. It means choosing to walk through this pain instead of avoiding it. That you choose, because you love her so much, that you're going to do this way and do it the most respectful way ever. And even though it hurts and even though it sucks, you're still going to do this pain. You're still going to do your grieving. And yes, it's hard. I know that it's hard. Guess what else I know? I know that it hurts. I know that it hurts your heart. I know that your heart is broken. I know that you are like, I can't do this. But I want you to do it anyway. This is the work. This is the grief healing journey. This is the journey that you decided to get on. This is how healing begins. It begins right here, right now. One moment at a time. When we sit with our grief and we name it, put our hand over our heart, we take a deep breath. We say, I'm going to feel this right now. I'm going to express this. I just had this memory of me walking down the street and seeing her on the corner and the two of us just standing there talking. And the energy that I felt. What does this feel right now in my heart? It feels painful. It feels sad. I'm going to let this in, and I'm not going to let anything else take its space. I'm just going to let this in right now. This is sadness. I'm going to be okay. That sadness is here for right now. I know this memory is raw. I know it feels like crap, but for right now, I'm just going to let it in. Friends, I want you to know something. These thoughts and the way of moving through this grief doesn't happen overnight. Moving the grief doesn't happen overnight. You knew her for 52 years. Why do you think that in 52 minutes it's going to go away? Why do you think in 52 days it's going to go away? I'm not telling you that in 52 weeks or 52 years it's going to take, but it's going to take the time that it takes. And every time you lean in, you take back a little piece of yourself. A little piece of yourself that disappeared with the grief. I want to share a story with you about a beautiful lady, one of my clients that came to me after she lost her son. The first thing she said to me is, I've never cried. I was like, okay, thinking she's exaggerating. Surely you cried when the doctors called you. Surely you cried when you had to call your mom and tell her. Surely you cried when you got in the car and you went to the hospital to identify the body. Nope. Surely you cried when you called the funeral home. Nope. When you had to call the teacher, the school, the principal, surely you cried then. Nope. What were you doing? How is it that you never cried? She told herself that she had to be strong for her son to get this done. She started keeping the house clean. She went back to going to work. She started managing everything. The funeral, the friends, the repast, the way things were going to go. She told herself, if I let this out, I won't survive it. If I start crying, the crying will never stop. If I let this out, it'll never stop. Once I start, I won't be able to get it to stop. She not only told herself that, she believed it. She believed it so hard that she lived it. She did everything she could. And everybody was whispering around her, is she okay? Is she, oh my gosh, is she okay? And she just went right back. Days, weeks, and months, they all just started to bend together. She would talk about him, she would say his name, but she would never cry. Then it turned on her. The grief started to eat her alive from the inside out, and she didn't know what to do with it. Started listening to my podcast, reached out to me, called me, and as she sat across from me telling me this story, I simply said to her, what if letting this out is the only way for you to survive it? What if letting it out was your job? What if you were supposed to let it out? What if you letting it out was what you were supposed to do all along? What if someone told you, like me, it's okay, let it out? And she came to my office every week. And every week she came in and we talked about the grief until one day it cracked. And we worked together on learning how to feel again, and for her to learn how to feel again. At first it was the little things, letting a tear fall without wiping it away, sitting in silence without trying to feel the silence, saying out loud, I miss him, and letting the sob come. And then one day, it just cracked open. Not because she was weak, not because she didn't know how to do it, but because she was strong enough to stop holding it back. She was strong enough to allow it all in. She was strong enough to stop forcing it down. She let it in. That's what leaning in looks like. And let me tell you guys, it is not glamorous and it ain't pretty, but it's real and it's raw and it hurts, and it is truly where the healing lives. Listen to me, my friends. You've got to start listening to your body. You've got to start listening to your body, especially if you've been pushing this grief down. You've got to listen to your stomach. You have to listen to your tight throat. You have to listen to where it feels heavy, where you're swallowing back the tears. Then I want you to listen to this message from me. You don't have to keep doing it in the way the world is telling you to do it, because they're wrong. Every time I hear somebody say, I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life, I swear I could take a penny and put it in a jar and I'd be a millionaire right now. Maybe I should put $10 because a penny. No, that's how many times I've heard this. I hear it from people writing in their books. You're going to be like this for the rest of your life. This is the thing you need to learn how to carry. Are you freaking kidding me? How is it that we came here with the ability to know how to breathe, to have emotions, to cry when we needed things, but yet we don't know how to grieve? How could that be? Somebody said that, and we all keep repeating that. Stop repeating that statement because it's not true. You will not be like this for the rest of your life if you choose not to. You do not have to stay strong. You don't have to stay quiet. And you sure as hell don't have to stay composed, because grief doesn't look like that. And you notice I raised my voice because this is really important to me. You don't have to pretend you're fine when you're barely not, when you're barely breathing. There's nothing wrong with you. You are grieving, and grief demands that it be felt. That is one of the things that it demands. It demands that it be talked about and shared about. Let me remind you of something. I've talked about this quite a bit. I've written about it, and I've even written about it in my book. Sheryl Sandberg, who is the COO or CEO of Facebook, after losing her husband suddenly, sat with her rabbi gave her the best advice I've ever heard. And that advice was this: grief sucks. Lean into the suck. Do not push back. She wrote a book called Option B. And she's talking about survival in Option B. So let me offer you this. Option A. Option A was no longer available to you. Option A was no longer available to her, so she had to kick the shit out of option B. Option A was no longer available to me, so I had to kick the shit out of option B. She wasn't talking about pretending to be okay. She wasn't just talking about survival. She was talking about rebuilding her life, about leaning into the pain so that she could eventually breathe again. That's what we are doing here. That's what you and I are doing here. We are talking about rebuilding. We're talking about leaning into the pain so we can eventually breathe again. We're not talking about waiting for the time to fix it, waiting for the time when it will stop. We're not talking about staying stuck in the story that grief has to last forever. That is bullshit. We're talking about leaning in. We're talking about grieving the shit. We're talking about leaning in and finding a way through it. Not around it, not under it, not pretty, not covered in roses, leaning in and moving beyond the pain. Friends, you don't have to do this alone. You do not have to do this alone. You can come to Grief Study Hall every Tuesday from 1 to 3. You can come to Honor Society, which is for anyone who's gone through Processing the Pain of Grief, which is this program is based on. Processing the Pain of Grief, which is every Thursdays from 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is an amazing program. Come and join me in either Grief Study Hall or Processing the Pain of Grief. This is what we do. We break down the grief. We don't just sugarcoat it. We bypass it. We speak about it. We don't bypass it, I'm sorry. We speak about it. We feel it. We talk about it all the way through. We talk about it all the way through until it is no longer there. That's the way we get through. I want to leave you with this. If you're ready to lean in, I'm ready to be your partner. So until next time, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with your heart. Be gentle with your pain. Lean in. Lean into the suck. This grief sucks. Lean into it. And I'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you, friends.